So the current version, just as a reminder, I'm not going to labor the point too much here around what's out there at the moment, but clearly the current app has been in service for some time. It was designed for tablets, and we've adapted it for mobile phones over time, and we've done a lot of work to try and make sure that it's functional and delivers what you need in the field to capture data and make things as simple as possible on devices working remotely. But clearly, devices have changed, technology's improved, and we've made a real effort with 3.9 to try and ensure that this is truly not just adapting a tablet version or improving what was there before. We've started from the ground up with a new technology stack, a new design, and a new approach to mean that this version will work on a small screen. So it is designed for phone. It is also, although I'm not going to show examples of this today, enhanced even further for tablets. So what you will see today on the phone version works even better on a larger screen. So yes, we know there's been challenges with layouts and some of the ways that information is captured on a tablet in the previous version, but we're hoping that we're making a giant leap to make this phone first and much simpler and easier on any device to capture the information that you need while you're out doing your work in the field. So I'm going to jump now into showing you what the new version will look like. So just bear with me a second while we just jump out of the slides. And so what I'm going to show you now is a mirror of 3.9. So hopefully you can see the home screen. Now, immediately you'll see, or probably be asking the question, it looks exactly the same as what I'm used to using. And there is a reason for that. So as I mentioned up front, the 3.9 version is really focused around activities and forms, because in reality, that's where the majority of people spend their time collecting data, inputting photographs, uploading attachments. So you'll see the menu structure is the same. A lot of the features and the options are absolutely identical, but to show you where the changes are, we've set up a couple of test examples here, and I'm just in our sales demo platform at the moment just to show you how that works. So we still have the My Folder concept and the Shared Folder concept. So I'm going to jump into the Shared Folder. Again, here we can see a multitude of jobs. Again, layout's exactly the same. I'm going to choose this construction task site diary at the bottom. You'll see the summary view and attachments again will look very familiar. Where this all changes is in the activities tab, and you'll see now this looks very different from what you're used to seeing. So within activities, I've already got my construction task diary. And as I go into here, you'll see now this has been completely redesigned and reformatted so that you can enter data far more simply on a small screen. So again, this is an iPhone, and you will see that as a form, it's designed to flow from top to bottom. We can create new forms. All of the pop-ups, etc., are all designed to fit within that small screen environment. And we've pretty much updated every single control. And when I say control, I mean text boxes, drop downs, the ability to search, the ability to select, the ability to add text and type text has all been enhanced. Also, we can start to use tools like Siri and voice to text. So I can add new text by speaking. And there you'll see that's been added into the control. We can also, of course, use all the standard inputs as before, but they have just now been designed for this smaller screen setup. One of the major enhancements in this version is tables. So as you'll see, tables are very difficult to handle on a small screen. So we've tried to use a different approach completely here, where each table will be scrollable from left to right. So you'll see I can navigate through each one of those fields and I can fill them in from left to right. But again, with it being a small screen, it's very difficult to fit a table into that space. So I can go from left to right as I would do traditionally. And again, you'll see each of the controls, like for times, for dates, these have all been enhanced to fit into that small screen. And as I go through, I can collect that information. Again, I can pop out text. I can use my voice to text features. I can fill out data in those controls. And the idea is it's supposed to be a lot simpler and quicker and easier to navigate. Now, one key feature we've added here is the ability to click on the first column, and that will then give you a top to bottom view of that row. Now, this is a far simpler way of filling out a form in a table. And if there are multiple rows in the table, you'll see, as I'll show you in a better example shortly, you can just use the previous and next options, and that will jump through each of the rows and save the data as you go. So you've two ways now of entering tabular data. I think the latter is a far easier and slicker route, but as you fill it in either way, the table will complete on this screen, and you can scroll from left to right to see how that information has been captured. Again, all of the other controls that you can use have also been updated. So if I go into the close calls option, see a slightly different table here. So again, I can see the text and pop that out, so I can see that if I need to. I can move through the inputs and add my drop-down features in there. And again, we've got the image controls, so I can upload photographs from my camera roll, or I can take a photograph of my mouse and upload that directly. Now, what we're hoping that you will see is this new design has been far slicker to use, far more efficient and speedy, although there can be a bit of a lag on Teams. Hopefully when you get this in your hands on the 20th of May, you'll see that speed, efficiency and simplicity of entering data have been at the heart of what we've attempted to do here. And so as we go through this table, you'll see my images have been saved, and I can go from left to right at any point, or I can then switch back through to the top to bottom route, and then I can jump through each of the rows here, and you'll see the row number changes, and then I can enter my data in a more traditional top to bottom route. So our hope here is that this is a far more rapid way to capture information, far easier to use on a small screen, and also far more efficient and reliable when you're using a smaller handset. A couple of other things to call out. We've got this new action section here, and that's where you would see some of the other features that you may be traditionally used to using. So the ability to add comments, flag for attention, or again, if this is a form within a specific workflow, we can move that into the next stage of the workflow. So one to watch here is the actions capability. And again, we have a brand new feature as well, which is save for later. Now, if you're filling out a form and you just want to enter the information and you don't want to have the form validated, so therefore you can just get all the information in that you need and save it for later. The save for later won't actually validate the data. That will happen when you save the changes. So it enables you to get all the information in as quickly as you want, keep saving for later, and then only when you're ready to validate that record within eviFile do you hit save. At the point of save, then that will trigger the sync. So you've got a couple of options there of just getting the information in a bit more simply and being able to save and sync the data only when you've completed the form. You'll also notice that as we go into the forms here, there is a new indicator at the top there. So this indicator here will instruct you about whether the form has been synced or not. And this relates back to the uploads and the download queues. So you'll see here, because this is saved for later, this one hasn't been synced. If I go to one at the top here, I think you'll see that this one has been completed, it's been saved, and that one has been synced. So there's a new way of entering data in forms. There's a new design and a new experience for you to try. And hopefully when you get this onto your devices, you'll see the improvement straight away. And hopefully this summary has given you all the information that you need to see how that's going to work for you. So that's the overview of 3.9. I'm just going to jump back into the slides here and just talk through some of the some of the details that we think you'll need. So on the 20th of May, this app will hit the stores. You will go through the process as you always do to install that either from the Apple Apple App Store or the Android Play Store. There's no need to uninstall the old app. So in the past, we've given instructions that sometimes you need to get rid of the old before you install the new. No need in this case. There's no need to sync all the existing data before you do the update, but it is best practice to try and obviously sync the upload queues regularly to keep the data clean and make sure all of the data on the device has been uploaded. All of the previous data has already been mapped, so any other forms that have ever been completed will automatically be ported into the new format that I've shown you. So you will not have all the old forms in the old version and new forms in the new. Everything will be as I've just shown you in the 3.9 release. If you are, or the people on the webinar are involved with their IT teams who use mobile device management or MDM, please reach out to us, as that may take a little bit longer from the 20th to flow through. Generally what happens there is the stores release the app, it goes into your local MDM, and then that gets pushed out to your devices. So if you've got any concerns with that, please reach out to me or to the team at eviFile, and we will make sure that is all properly managed and that you get access to the app as swiftly as possible. For those who may not have installed it before, just a reminder, you search for eviFile or Evi 3.0. There is another eviFile app here. That is a legacy app that will soon be retired. So Evi 3.0 is the one to search for. Simply install the app on the device once you've located that, and that will then install and should pick up anything that was in the upload queue as previously stated, and you will have access to all of those new features straight off the bat. As I've mentioned before and referenced up front, it's really key that we don't have any information being sent directly to us. The service desk is the one place to send all the feedback. Hopefully those that use the service desk know how responsive it is. As with any major app release, which this is for 3.9, there may be some challenges, there may be some feedback, and there may be some things that we need to tackle. The service desk is the best place for that.